Hello, and welcome to the We Recommend podcast, a movie podcast where every week we recommend a movie for you to watch and then come back here and listen to us discuss. I'm Jesse.
I'm Jason.
You shouldn't keep souvenirs of a killing. Shouldn't have been that sentimental, because this week we recommend Vertigo. Jason!
Yes.
First time seeing this.
Yeah, I will say I really liked it.
Yeah? Do you think it's the greatest movie ever made?
Not necessarily, but I think that kind of thing is like if you grew up with this, then I could definitely see. But what I did find was it felt like a warm hug, kind of. I thought it was
very comforting.
It was very comforting. It was
in an eerie way.
Yeah, it was like visually stunning.
Right?
I thought
the colors pop so hard. Like Stewart's eyes are so blue in this movie. It's insane.
Jimmy Stewart. Is that
Jimmy
his name?
Stewart.
Jimmy Stewart. Yeah, but like the all the I don't know, it was just like the wallpaper and the one and Ernie's.
Ugh, bro.
That was awesome.
So apparently for that, he didn't want to use sets, or he didn't want to film on location. He wanted to have like this like a weird realism, but like, what do you call it when something's not real, but it almost looks real? An uncanny
like
type feel to it. So he went to this exact restaurant and was like, I like this, but I want to make so many changes that let's just rebuild this restaurant completely. And they wanted that really red wall, and so that she really popped with her blonde hair and the green. Dude, that scene, whenever, she's walking out and then he's staring at her, but like from the side, and they're both kind of glancing at each other. After I watched that, I was like, Natalie, man, that ruled. that went hard. That went really hard.
I'm gonna make you my dead woman, Natalie.
Yeah. So it's this movie took the place. So BFI, that's who considered this to be the best movie ever.
What's BFI?
It's the British Film Institute.
That sounds like beefy.
Yeah. So every decade they make a new list. And so from like 1962 to what was it? I think 2012, Citizen Kane was considered the number one movie ever.
That's a long reign.
Yeah. And Citizen Kane, the reason a lot of people give that one of the best movies ever made is because of how it was filmed. Like, it was the first time that we had low angles. And it's the way they experimented with how they
somebody
filmed.
put a camera on the floor. They were like, fuck yeah.
No, they didn't do that. They dug a hole in the floor and got in the floor.
Even better.
Because there's this part where the lead character in Citizen Kane's just like destroying this room. And it's all filmed like below. And it's like really impressive, especially at the time in like the 1930s, right? And it's also the way that he showed storytelling, like just with visuals. Like first it's him and the character's wife sitting at a table that's really small, and they're sitting across from each other and they're talking. And then throughout the movie, like the table gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then like they're talking less and less and less. And it's just kind of, the more money you have,
that's really
it doesn't make it happier. Here's the thing. Right? Snooze fest. And which I really hate to say as someone that loves film, because, I want to be better than that. But I mean, it's hard to like deny that like older movies now, with the fact that we have screens constantly in our face and films are faster and faster. It's just like, you'll go back and watch an old movie like Vertigo and
you fall asleep.
You're
and
just
then
like,
turn back on.
Wait a second. How long is he going to be following her in this movie? You mean we could cut 40 minutes out of this movie if we just fast forward through the parts? But I will say why I think Vertigo really works is probably because of Alfred Hitchcock. He's one of our best, older filmmakers. He's such a damn freak, and I love him. He's such a pervert, and he just wants to be a pervert all the time. It's so great. But like whenever he's following her, it like, because I think this is the second or third time I watched it for the podcast, or watched it before the podcast.
Did you watch it in film school?
Yeah, that was when I first saw it. And I was like, this is the best movie ever made. The same way when I watched Citizen Kane, I was like, is everybody just being pretentious or what? But now this time watching it, I was like, whoa, this movie goes, man. Is the how I felt when he was following her really
Like in the beginning?
interested me. Yeah.
Oh, just because you wanted to be a stalker.
Well, it was just like, shit, man, people could be following and you don't know. And the fun part of this movie is she knows, which makes the movie even more fun the more you rewatch it. Because the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, big whoop, whatever. I've seen a twist like this a billion times in modern cinema. But I don't know. It's just one of those movies you can kind of go back and rewatch, and it's really fun.
That is cool. Yeah.
Just because every move that she's doing, she knows he's behind her.
Calculated.
And it's just, especially since even if she didn't know he was there, if I saw this guy, I'd be like, this guy's obviously following me everywhere. He's really bad at hiding. But
his cars, all the cars are so shiny, Elliot. How would you know?
Yeah, right. So did the mystery like capture you? Like, were you really invested in it? So this is the first time watching it.
Yeah,
correct?
it was the first time watching it. I wouldn't say, because there was kind of an inkling of that whenever he finds her again, and then he starts, looking, like talking to her, and it's just super weird.
Mm-hmm.
And then they kind of do the whole plot twist in like a split second, like her just like looking up
She
and having a memory.
it. Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, well that's cool.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like,
I do have a few like little things that Alfred Hitchcock said about the scene, like revealing it. So Alfred Hitchcock had contemplated editing Judy's flashback sequence, which reveals that she and Madeline are one of the same. Hitchcock was worried that audience would lose interest in the movie if audiences knew the twist too early. 2 screenings for critics were subsequently? Yes, that word.
Wait.
Subsequent. It's how do you say it? Why won't it come out of my mouth right? I know how to say it.
That's probably it.
Subsequently. Held in New York City, one with the flashback and the other without it. With the flashbacks, critics called it Hitchcock's best movie. Without it, critics called it one of Hitchcock's worst movies.
Oh, wow.
With that in mind, the flashback was retained. One more thing. Over the decades, the film has been criticized by many for Judy's flashback revealing the murder of Elster's wife so soon in the story. However, Hitchcock explained, in which I completely agree, it's the whole point of thrillers. Hitchcock explained more than once that one of the hallmarks for suspense films, unlike mysteries, is that the audience always knows more than the character, thus herring at the nerves and feelings of helplessness, the effect of which Hitchcock admitted playfully. Here's the fun thing. So when you first watch it, you're like, hey, Scotty, bruh, it's the same girl.
Scotty doesn't know.
Scotty doesn't know. But then when you watch it, the second time, as soon as you see that it's her, it immediately becomes, fuck, she's in danger. So there's a suspense built the first time you watched it for him. And like, dude, like there could be something up with this. But then once you know the film, the second time you watch it, you're like, hey, girl, get out. Don't let him in your house.
Yes.
This guy's a creep.
I will say everyone is so nice in the 58.
Yeah, kind of.
San Francisco. Hey, random guy, come in my apartment.
I can't wait till we get to the point of it because, like now that I watched it, I was like, shit, this movie is not what I thought it was about at first. Like it all just clicked this morning while watching it. I was like, I know what this movie is about now.
Yeah, I saw the handprints on your coffee table.
Yeah. So, do you find it hard to watch older movies, or can you enjoy them as much as newer movies?
I will say, I did not have a hard time watching this one.
Yeah,
but I mean, sometimes. But I think what really made this one different was the color.
Yeah.
It kind of like I was so interested in everything going on around the characters
mm-hmm.
that I was really able to be engaged. Even if I was like, yeah, this is long, and like
it feels like a play.
It does.
Older movies feel like plays. Which
does kind of. Yeah.
It's kind of can be annoying because it's like all the sets you can tell the backgrounds, like there are no windows. They're just talking in a room and they have a painted background, or they're rear projecting like cars driving in the background or something. But so it makes it kind of feel like a play. But I just think I love that you're like talking about the color so much, because if you think now about our movies, they're so dark. Why is everything so dark now?
I don't know. I think it's the difference it's something with the way they were filmed.
Yeah, because it's got that Vista vision.
Like, yeah, Vista vision, like WandaVision.
Yeah.
They kind of tried to capture that same
And
style.
I feel like a lot of it was because, black and white films were then, and they're like, we can do color now?
Let's
Beautiful!
go.
Everything's got to be so colorful. And I miss it. I miss when we had movies that were... It's what, like, I loved about early Tim Burton movies.
Yeah.
Like, if you think about Edward Scissorhands, and it's so beautiful.
Fuck
Like,
yeah.
the colors pop so much. But I mean, I guess that was kind of the point of his
Especially
movies.
the blood.
It's like how he felt
It's
inside
badass.
was like all dark, but like everything, we have this fake suburbia in Edward Scissorhands, which is great. But I do think that having so much color, and especially now looking back at the 1950s, the Greatest Generation and stuff like that, it's so colorful. It's like the same shitty things that happens now happened back then, right? It's like people were still taking advantage of each other and murdering.
It was also really interesting to see how much nobody gave a shit about women.
Yes. Yes. They're just like, we got thrown away.
Or like when he's picking out the clothes, she's like, well, the man knows what he wants. Woman, shut your mouth.
I know. Yeah. That is 100% how I took it too. It's funny. That's something that didn't like pop with me whenever I first watched the movie. I was like, why? I know. And he's just like, you're going to wear this. And she's like, I don't want to. And the older lady, oh, man, he's a man who knows what he wants. It's like, how about the lady like crying almost that she doesn't want to wear this fucking suit? It's wild. But hey, that's the price they had to pay for being born a woman.
Yes. Jesus Christ.
So what'd you think of the two leads, James Stewart or Jimmy Stewart and Kim Novak? 25-year age difference.
Really?
Yeah, he was like in 50s. She was like 40, 20 something.
Yeah. She was supposed to be like 26 or something.
Yeah, I think their actual age, I think she was like 24 and he was like 52, something like that. Something crazy. I don't know.
American Dream.
But what'd you like? I love Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah, I thought
there's
it was
something
really
about
good.
his voice. Like, oh, say.
Yeah, exactly.
You want the moon? I'll tie a lasso around it.
Yes. No, that's exactly.
Hey, Toots, put on this gray suit. I don't care if you don't like it.
No, I thought they were really good. Like, she's gorgeous.
Yeah.
She's absolutely stunningly beautiful.
Yeah.
I liked her more as a redhead, though, I will say.
Really? I kind of did too. She looked like a ghost walking around at all other times.
I think that was intentional.
Yeah, it definitely was. Every time like I'd see her, I'd be like I would not be able to fall in love with this one. I'd be like, hey, snap out of it, dude. Could you look like you got some brains up in there? Constantly looking like you're just off in the distance, which is the point. But it's just like, I don't know. But I mean, I guess you're supposed to be so attractive that like it makes him fall in love with her. He just becomes obsessed.
I guess, or maybe the whole reason I was so confused about why he was angry with her. I mean, I guess, like, how dare you confuse a man?
Well,
but it was her husband who killed her.
I know. Well, it was just because,
and it wasn't even the same woman.
I know.
You knew this.
Damn, I don't know what the point of the movie is yet. I'll have to tell you later. One last thing, before we get into some facts, what's your favorite Hitchcock movie? Have you ever seen any more?
I think I've seen I've only seen parts of the other ones. I don't think I've ever seen a full one. Like, so I guess it would be Vertigo. This is the only one I've seen.
It's a great one to like. I've seen Psycho, Vertigo, North by Northwest, Rebecca, and I know I've seen some other ones. Rebecca's like the Jaws of like the 1940s.
Oh yeah,
it's constantly talking about this girl in Rebecca, and we never see her, hear her, or anything. And it's just like
Rebecca is a shark.
She's a ghost essentially. But yeah, it's like, you don't see. There's so much suspense built up over this girl, and it's like you never really see her. And it's really great. It's a fun movie. It's just older, and it takes like forever to get going. But man, Alfred Hitchcock's been making movies since like 1922. This movie came out in 1959, and it's considered his best movie. Could you imagine? 30 years in my filmography, and I finally did the best movie I'll ever make.
A good one.
I mean, like, he really gets going around this, because you got 54, you got Rear Window. It's another movie that's like a masterpiece, they say. Suspicion, that's a TV show, my bad. Vertigo, North by Northwest, and then Psycho in 1960. It's like, damn. And then The Birds in 63. And that was kind of like his last great movie was The Bird. There's so many birds. These birds are attacking. Help. So yeah, let's hop into some facts. I feel like my favorite Hitchcock, because I didn't answer. I guess it'd probably be this or North by Northwest. North by Northwest kind of goes.
Is it a mystery?
Yeah.
Thriller kind of thing?
Shit. I don't really know how you even classify North by Northwest.
I'll have to check it out because
it's the classic thing where he's like running from a plane and a plane's like flying over him. You've probably seen like the visual before. So, all right. One of my favorite facts about this movie. Speaking of Jaws. So, Alfred Hitchcock had originally wanted to use his now famous vertigo zoom or dolly zoom.
Dolly zoom?
So in Jaws,
uh-huh.
When he's sitting on the beach, the main character, like his kid's out playing in the water, and he's there to make sure no shark attacks happen, on the beach where you can't do anything about a shark attack.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden, like the shark's kind of boom.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And there's kids playing, and then all of a sudden there's some screaming, and then the camera zooms in.
Yeah.
But also like so
that's awesome.
Wait, is it the cameras? So the camera I think zooms out, or the dolly zooms out, and the camera zooms in, and it creates this like effect where it's like, whoa, that effect.
The vertigo effect.
The vertigo effect, which they used. This was the first film that used that.
That's awesome.
And so speaking of the movie Rebecca, this is why I wanted to bring up Jaws. That was the first time he wanted to do it because they didn't have the technology at the time, he couldn't. The technique was inspired by a time when Hitchcock had fainted during a party, and it gave him that like vertigo, dolly zoom effect. And that's so cool.
That is fucking cool.
And I guess it was
you see you see it everywhere now.
Yeah, it's one of the best things.
Awesome.
I remember like when I finally got a camera and I learned about that thing. That's all I did for a week, baby.
Do you think whenever he came up with the idea, everyone's like, oh, he's crazy. And Alfred's over there. I want to go back and forward at the same fucking time.
No, he's on the ground. I have an idea. Give me a blonde lady so I can film her. Because
Make me a dead woman.
All his movies always has blonde ladies. He obviously was obsessed with blonde women.
Oh, okay.
So it was uncredited second unit cameraman Erman Roberts invented the famous zoom out and track in shot to convey the sense of vertigo in the audience. The view down the mission stairwell cost $19,000 for just a couple seconds of screenshot.
Jesus.
Which
why?
back in the day, was a lot.
I mean, I don't understand why.
Why it costs that much? Well, it's set up. They probably built this.
Okay.
Because the way that they filmed it, obviously they didn't have the technology like we do now where you can just put it on a crane and zoom in and out and you probably do it 5 billion times since there's nothing there. Well, they had to build a model of it, lay it on its side so the camera could stay upright and then would have to film it from an angle with models.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a little bit about that.
That's cool.
What do you think about the opening sequence, title sequence? You think it's special in any way? I'll tell you why special,
Go ahead.
Jason. The opening title sequence is designed by Saul Bass, makes this the first movie to use computer graphics.
Whoa, no shit.
Isn't it great? I loved when I saw it too. I was like, ooh, this is fun. I like it. It's a little silly. It's unnerving. Especially when he's having his dream sequence and you have like all the petals falling off. I was like, are we like smoking
hell yeah
ganja now?
He's in a paranoid nightmare.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a little bit why the beginning's a little fancy. Sorry, I cut you off. So I just like this quote from Alfred Hitchcock that I found. He described this movie to Francis Truffaut, he was like a leader of the French New Wave back in the day. He did a movie called Breathless and stuff like that. He's kind of like one of the person who's like, hey, we don't have to film everybody just walking places. We can cut and have them at the places. That was the guy that kind of did that.
Genius.
And it was like Breathless was like 1930s or 40s, something like that.
He was wearing a white and red striped shirt with a beret.
Yeah.
And a cigarette.
And he also was painted up like a mime.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
With a baguette. An invisible one that he ate. But Hitchcock said to Truffaut, to put it plainly, the man wants to go to bed with the woman who is dead.
Yay.
And I was like, that is Alfred Hitchcock.
Now get in the ice bath.
Yeah. So I guess Kim Novak, the lead actress, so Hitchcock had a very specific way he wanted her to look. You know, he had the gray with the black shoes or brown shoes or whatever. Kim Novak hated it. She said she didn't think like her character would be like that or anything, so she wanted to like completely change.
Yeah, it was very bland.
Yeah, and she said it's like as a blonde that's not a very nice like costume for her. But he like pushed it to make her want to do that,
She
and
seemed very like uptight.
yeah, I think I think she was just supposed to be a mystery, so it's like she no personality
okay.
and things like that. Maybe I don't know. But so Kim Novak, I guess, had a reputation for being difficult. I'm assuming it's just she was a woman back in the day.
Yeah, it's just because she's a woman.
Because when I first read this, I was like,
she didn't want to go be pushed out of a tower. Can you believe it?
It's like, I don't think she's difficult. I think she just wanted to, you know, have some say in the art that she's making. But so she had the reputation of being difficult. So I guess she refused to show up for work one day. She was striking for more money from her home studio, Columbia Pictures, because they had contracts that they had to stay with certain companies. And that's how they like constantly just churned out movies, because they'd just do like movie after movie with 1 star.
And wouldn't pay them shit.
Well,
the
men got paid.
Yeah.
So,
obviously. They deserved it.
Her Columbia Pictures, her home studio, was paying her $1,000 and $1,250 a week. Even though they were receiving $250,000 for her loan out for this and one more movie. The ploy worked and Novak got a raise. So essentially, the studio was getting paid $250,000. She's getting paid $1,200 a week.
God damn.
So she went on strike essentially for a day to get more money. And it's like, well, yeah, all that money you just got paid. You're not paying her, even though she's the reason you're getting this money. But yeah, she's difficult. Right.
Yeah.
I know. It's just whenever I was
that's incredible.
When I read that and it was like the way it was written, I was like, fuck you, article. She's not being difficult. She's probably getting paid like 10 times less than that guy. The studio got paid like 100 times more than her, and she's not seeing any of it. Because then, you know, they filmed things super fast back in the day. So, you know.
Yeah, they were really making money hand over fist. And shit.
I mean, it's because like one studio would make like 30, 40 movies a year just because they're able to. And they all had contracts, and it's kind of like the golden era of Hollywood, and nothing bad ever happened. And
it was the golden era for white males.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's enough facts and hubbub at the beginning. I don't know why I used that word. That's cool. So before we hop into the plot, remember to think about what is this movie about, and let us know what you think the movie is about, even though we'll tell you what we think the movie is about at the end. You can just leave us.
We're never wrong.
And just let us know what you think Vertigo is about. And there's a link in the description you can click to send us some fan mail, or go to we recommend mailbag@gmail.com. All right, Jason, let's do this, baby. All right. So movie opens up. A woman's face gives way to a kaleidoscope of credits, signaling the start of Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo to Bernard Herrmann's haunting score. Yeah. Love it. Just like the eye, the spinning.
Yeah, all the words coming out of her eyes.
Yeah.
Like, it's so paranoid.
I know you're. That's why I think when you first watch this movie, you'd be like, this one lady's no good, man. You better run from her.
Women are the devil.
Yeah.
Well, I do love when movies, like, the whole, like, credits in the beginning. That's always fun.
Yeah. Especially older, because, you know, they didn't start doing that until after Star Wars, where they're like, we're getting rid of credits at the beginning. So a woman, which do you prefer the credits at the beginning or the end? Because
I think I prefer them at the end, but
me too.
I do. It is like fun to be able to place a movie knowing that, seeing the credits in the beginning.
But I kind of don't like that. Like the movie just ends and then like Netflix is like, all right, you're done. It's like, no, give me the score a little bit at the end. It feels way better.
Yeah, because you want to be like, who was that person?
Yeah, yeah, and at the beginning, you're not really. You're just.
You don't know who
the
characters are yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So we see a criminal climbs up rungs of a ladder to the rooftop on a dark San Francisco night. John Scotty Ferguson, played by James Stewart, a detective and a police officer, are hot on his trail.
I immediately got Men in Black vibes.
Yeah. So they chase him across the top of buildings. The thief jumps between two buildings, making it across. The police officer follows, but Scotty can't get his footing. He slips. Scotty hangs on a gutter as his fear of heights kicks in. Man. Oh boy, strong to keep himself up that long.
Holding on to the gutter that's falling.
Yeah, Christ. It's like my gutters would just completely crumble. They need to be replaced. So then we see the police officer. He tries to help him and asks for his hand, but the officer slips and falls to his death. Scotty witnesses as he clutches the gutter.
Yeah,
I love it. He's like, here, grab my hand. Whoop! It's like, I don't know. That's not Scotty's fault at that point. It's like, hey, brother, let's how about you kneel down a little bit, grab onto something, then try to pull him up instead of like, I'm going to be on an angle going down and bend over from my feet.
That part where the cop pulled himself up, I was like, holy shit, man. Because he was like, the cop jumped and he was on the incline and he started to fall a little bit. And then he just whoop. Yeah. Like, that guy must have been strong as hell.
Yeah. So thanks a lot, Jimmy Stewart. Ruined this cop's life.
Killed him, man.
Yeah. So we cut to months after the incident. Scotty reclines in his home, in the home of Marjorie Midge Wood.
Yeah. What's their whole deal?
Ooh, let me explain. She's a painter and a fashion illustrator. She's concerned about Scotty's plans now that he's back in shape. He has retired from police force due to his shit. He says it a billion times during this. What did he call it? Acrophobia. That's what it is. Yeah. And does not want to be a desk jockey. Midge and Scotty used to be engaged back in college, but it was broken off. I love that Alfred Hitchcock's like, all right, I need to make sure people know the term vertigo and acrophobia. So let me say it 15 times in a span of 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's a fun word.
Yeah. So Scotty kind of...
I think I have acrophobia.
Yeah.
I've been, like, anytime I'm on the edge of a cliff, I'm just like, I get sick.
Really?
I freeze. I tried rock climbing a couple times and I would just get stuck and immobile.
Really?
On the side of a cliff or something.
Damn, that's
and I'd have to jump down.
I kind of like heights. It's fun.
No, not me.
I like that fear.
It's horrifying.
So Scotty kind of waves their engagement off as a flight of fancy ended by Midge, but it's clear from Midge's expression that Scotty was more likely the unwilling party. Because he says, well, you broke it off. And she goes, kind of like makes eyes at him. And obviously she still is in love with him.
Yeah.
So, pretty obvious. I can't wait till we get a
like,
little
why
later.
Are they still hanging out?
I know. I think it's just one of those things where he's just a man and he
just got nowhere to go.
He's just like, oh, let me just hang out with a broad I used to be engaged with.
And he would.
And then she's just like, well, I want to get back together with him, so I don't want him to leave.
So I'm gonna make
type
some
of
cool
situation.
paintings for him.
Yeah. So she urges him to take a vacation, and Scotty replies, "Don't be so motherly." It's like, bitch, she likes you. They discuss an old college buddy, Gavin Elster, who wants to meet with Scotty. Scotty attempts to gradually get over his fear of heights by using a step stool. Here, I'll get over it real fast. You see? Here, let me take this. So she pulls out a step stool. It's like, here's one step. Up, down, up, down. See, I'm doing just fine. So happy we get to do this movie. I can do this accent the whole entire time and it makes sense.
It's wonderful.
And then he goes up one other step. He says, see, up, down, I'm all great. And then he climbs up one more. He's like, up, down. And see, no problem. Then he looks out the window. He's like, I like that he wasn't overly feigning. He just kind of went and then passed out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like if this was made by a different director like 5 years earlier, it'd be like, oh, because in older movies, everything was more dramatic.
Well, this was pretty dramatic too.
Yeah. And that's because this was just kind of how people acted in movies. That's why people are so big in older movies, because they didn't have like the more realistic acting, which you get kind of in the 60s and stuff that became more prominent. Yeah.
And like the kissing scenes are always wild.
Yeah. Oh, let's kiss.
I mean,
we can't have sex, so kiss harder.
I know, but it's always like when one person stops kissing for a second, the other one is like, okay, I'm going to stop. You keep going.
Yeah.
Now you stop it. I'll keep going.
Yeah. It's like, ugh. It's wild. It's like in all old movies, it's like, are we sure like anybody ever had chemistry in this? It's not, because they made 500 movies a year, each actor.
Every woman, every time he kisses Madeline in the movie, it looks like she's trapped.
Yeah. Hey, maybe we'll learn she is. We'll see. But yeah, so he panics and collapses into Midge's arms. So then we cut to Scotty, who's going to meet Gavin, who is in the shipping business. And you have to be a little
cool ass office.
Had to be a little faster than that. Alfred Hitchcock. He walks in front of the camera. Whenever we see the outside of the building he's going into, Alfred Hitchcock walks by. He's in every single movie he makes. He always makes a cameo as like just some guy that walks around in the background.
That's nice.
Be a little faster than that. Get past me, Alfred.
I wasn't paying attention.
So
also, I don't really know if I know what he looks like, because I've only ever seen like a silhouette, really.
Yeah. Well, think of who's the Storm the Beaches guy?
What?
World War II British leader.
Yeah.
It's on the tip of my tongue, man. This is so frustrating.
King George. No, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Storm the Beaches.
Charlie. Not Charlie Chaplin.
Speech. Jesus. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Winston Churchill. He's like he's kind of got vibes of Winston Churchill. Now that I'm actually looking at Winston Churchill, that was all pointless, and he doesn't look that much like him.
All great men did.
He's got the same body and hair. This is what I'm meaning. All right, anyways. So we meet Gavin. He's married. He married into the business of shipping, I guess, and he wants Scotty to tell his wife.
Married into it.
Yeah.
The shipbuilding.
And that should have been our first sign that he's like, oh, he's going to kill her. He's just trying to kill his wife, obviously. But yeah, he wants Scotty or Johnny, which way you want to call him. Depends if you're an acquaintance.
Jono, Scotty.
He does not suspect infidelity, but hints that his wife has been possessed by something.
Yeah, that's why you got to put a hole in her head.
Love it. I love that it like starts as like kind of a ghost story, right?
Yeah,
like a possession thing.
Yeah, that
so
was
fun.
cool.
That really drew me in as whenever I first watched it. I was like, oh, that's right. It's Alfred Hitchcock. It's gonna be like spooky and stuff. Even though when
I thought that's where it was gonna go.
Yeah, and like that's why I kind of like the twist. I was like, oh yeah, none of Alfred Hitchcock's movies are about ghosts. They're all kind of about people in situations.
Yeah.
So,
it was like the reality is probably maybe a little scarier.
Yeah, right. Like Psycho. It's like there's no ghost. There's no mother that's a ghost. It's a crazy son. Right?
Hell yeah.
Kind of the same way in Rebecca, except different. But anyways, so we learned that Madeline, she becomes distant and distracted and has taken to roaming the city and surrounding area. The no-nonsense Scotty initially dismisses the supernatural undertones of Gavin's worries, but is intrigued.
Hey, you paying me to follow a beautiful woman around?
Yeah, it's like
you got it.
But Gavin's like, wait, she doesn't know what he looks like. She looks like yet. So he invites Scotty to observe him and his wife at Ernie's restaurant the following night. It's like once he sees her, he's gonna be in on the job.
He can't stop following.
Yeah. So we're at Ernie's restaurant. It's a very lavish, upscale. The walls are all red and scarlet looking. Yeah. It's got kind of like a flowery design.
Velvety kind of, like they would be soft if you touch them.
Yeah, like it's like I would love to eat here.
When can we go back to having carpet on our walls?
I don't know. I just constantly be rubbing my face on the walls. I'd probably get sick. So Scotty, he first spots Madeline, who is stunning with platinum blonde hair, a black dress, and green shawl. He's mesmerized by her. And I love it because like he sees her, she gets up, she's walking towards the camera. She's got a little thing around her neck. And then she like stops. And obviously Gavin was probably like, all right, once you get to that guy, stop and kind of just like stand for a second. And like the lights kind of come up and glow around her a little bit. And then you see him trying not to look at her and she's trying not to look at him. And bro, because I was watched it Sunday and I used the Delta 8 pen, like, man, that scene hits when you're a little high. Nice. It's pretty great. It's great. I was like, golly.
I was thinking I would love to see this movie on some drugs.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially with the colors.
Yes.
And like, it also kind of makes like, the silliness of some of the acting sometimes, like
Yeah.
even better.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Although I did have a good laugh at the end.
Ye-
Well, near the middle.
The
Like,
middle.
whenever Madeline gets thrown out of the building.
Oh, can't wait to get there.
Spoiler. Sorry.
So the next morning, he stalks her outside her house. She wears a simple gray suit with white gloves. As she gets into her green automobile, Scotty follows her through the streets of San Francisco as she visits a flower shop and purchases a small bouquet. You got this great shot whenever he's hiding behind a door that has a mirror on it, and it's obviously like a projection of her. Like it seemed like they kind of projected. Like rear projected behind to because it obviously doesn't look like they're being filmed at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like the mirror shot's being filmed differently. But it's just like you can see his face like peeking through, and then she's just kind of like wandering around. Hitchcock loves voyeurism.
Oh, yeah.
Rear window. Like he loves having men follow women.
Yeah.
And that's something I think that's different about his film.
It's terrifying.
His
for sure.
filmography is, I feel like he definitely knows that it's creepy when guys follow women.
Hell yeah.
Versus back in the day, I feel like, you had guys following women all the time and they never made it seem creepy. But this whole time he follows her, I'm like, this is so scary.
Yes.
That he's just following someone. But then at the same time, I started thinking, man, what if I just found somebody at Walmart and I just decided to follow him the rest of the day?
Oh, man.
And
You should try it. I'll come bail you out of prison.
And it's funny because the next movie we're going to do, it's going to be a Christopher Nolan movie. I'm not going to tell you which yet, but his first movie is called The Following or something. And it's just about a guy that just follows people around all day. And that's all he does.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
You ever stop and think that you're being followed?
No. I do in my car because I was followed and mugged at gunpoint.
That sucks ass.
Yeah. Just because I wanted a fucking hamburger from Cookout. I'm so glad I did that. But anyways, so he then trails her to the Mission Dolores, where she goes through the chapel to the cemetery, finally stopping to stand at a grave. As she exits, Scotty notes the headstone, which reads, Carlotta Valdez, born December 3rd, 1931, died March 5th, 1856. She didn't really live that long.
So is Madeline supposed to be an heiress to like a great fortune? Or
yes,
something?
that's her great grandmother.
So, yeah, I know you find out that here pretty soon.
I don't know if I don't think she gets any money though, because she was discarded, as we'll learn very soon.
Okay.
So he then tracks her to the Palace of the Legions of Honor, an art museum. Madeline sits staring at a portrait for hours. Scotty notices that the bouquet she purchased is just like the one in the painting. Also, her hair is done exactly like the woman in the painting. Scotty discovers from the curator that the painting is titled Portrait of Carlotta and is given a catalog of paintings. Finally, he follows her to the McKittrick Hotel, where Scotty observes Madeline in a second-story window. Scotty enters the old hotel and asks the manager who the occupant of the room is. She hesitates to tell him until Scotty reveals his badge. And then you got this whole thing. She's like, hey, won't you go up and check on her?
Though.
Yeah, it's great. I would love to stay at a place like this. And then we learn the woman's name is Carlotta Valdez and that she has not been in the room all day. And Scotty finds this impossible. So he's like, hey, go check. She goes up there and he's like, hey, detective guy, get up here. Looks around. She's not there.
Come into this woman's room with me.
So, and then he looks outside and sees that the car is gone.
Yeah.
So it's it makes it feel like, oh wait, is she actually a ghost?
Is he imagining this?
Yeah. Is any of this real? Is she a ghost? Is he just going crazy? But we'll learn that obviously this is all of a setup. So I have a question for you. One, how the fuck did Gavin come up with this plan? Right? Is Madeline actually an heir to, or was the real Madeline actually the great granddaughter
and that's
of
why
this?
He killed her to get her money, right?
And then he was like, oh, luckily there's all these paintings and random stuff around that I know about and know where to go to tell Judy to go to all these places and just sit around for hours, which has to be super boring. And also,
I could stay
the main thing I want to know, Jason, is this old lady in on it? Because otherwise,
at the hotel?
How did Madeline get up there and this old lady not see? And then how did she get out? Is she in on it?
I don't think so. I mean,
but how did she walk in the front door and not be noticed?
Well, he walked in the front door and he had to go around through the foyer to get to her. So maybe she just
snuck in somehow.
Snuck in and went out the back door or something.
I think she's in on it.
She's probably in on it.
She's also possessed by Carlotta. I love the name Carlotta. Valdez.
There's
something about Carlotta.
Yeah.
It sounds gross and regal at the same time. Yeah, I'm Carlotta. I don't know. So,
Daddy named me after a painting.
Man, just talking about this movie fucking goes, dude. I'm enjoying this. I could just read the plot of this movie all the time. So, Scotty returns to Midge's home where where he asks her for a local historian expert. She tells him of San Francisco historian Pop LaBelle, who owns a bookshop. I love
the cigarette bookshop.
Yeah, I love that. Like he's like starts pouring himself a drink when he says all this, and he's like, "Hi, sorry, do you know anybody that might know local history?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, I know." She also talks like him.
Yeah.
And then he pours the drink, starts drinking. And he's like, "All right, well,
what a great time to live."
I know, right? Just walk in,
just drink at work,
drink, just pour like a glass full of bourbon, start drinking. It's like, now I gotta drive. But what I love,
it's required.
Yeah,
drive.
I love that he's like, because he's just a man walks into the house of this woman's house and says, just starts drinking her liquor, and then is like, I need you to tell me about this person. And then whenever he figures it out, it's like, all right, we're going, let's go. And then she's like, all right, gets up, walks out the door. He's like, but hey, I wanted to drink my drink.
It's whiskey sour.
Yeah.
It was a full ass glass.
Yeah. He's like,
he was ready to drive.
Yeah. But I just love that she's like literally been doing nothing all day. It's like, hey, let's go do something. She's like, all right, bye.
Fuck yeah, let's go.
It's like,
I don't need a fucking hat.
Yeah. And I just like the idea that it's like a man just like walking into this woman's house, like, we need to go. And then she's like, oh, I'm not going to let you drink the drink. I'm leaving this.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's smart.
So she and Scotty go to Pop's bookstore thing. I don't know. It's a bunch of weird words at once, all at once. Okay. And Scotty asks the man about the McKittrick Hotel. Pop tells Scotty that the hotel was originally a house built by a rich man for his mistress, Carlotta Valdez, and they had a child. However, the rich man eventually discarded Carlotta, keeping their child to raise with his childless wife. Carlotta went from depressed to insane and finally took her own life.
Wait, so she was the hotel was Carlotta's house.
Yes. Yeah, and then they
so
turned
she
it into
wasn't on it.
Yeah. But yeah, and then like she was a mistress, so the old boy was sleeping around with her.
Yeah.
And just she was a very happy woman, and then a very sad woman, and then became a mad woman.
Yeah,
I love the progression of the story. The way the guy tells it, whoever this guy is, great performance. He's like very kind of almost French-like.
Yeah.
He's great. And the scene's kind of unnerving because they dim all the lights in the building. I don't know if you noticed it. Like at first it starts off kind of bright, but I guess it's supposed to be kind of like a passing of time. So it gets very dim in there. And then when they go outside, it's kind of brighter. And then the guy in the background has to turn on the lights. But it makes it a very eerie kind of story. And it makes it really feel like it's a ghost story.
And they did that again, sort of, I guess, whenever she's fully dressed up and then they kiss.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think they do it 2 or 3 times. There's a lot of play on lights in this movie, which is why a lot of people really like this movie, especially back in the day.
Yeah.
And it's why people kind of push it up as one of the best movies ever made.
Hell yeah.
It does a lot with not a lot of technology at the time, and it's very effective. So, and the guy telling the story absolutely crushes it. I love the guy. So, on the drive home, Midge and Scotty talk about the portrait. He shows her the catalog picture, and the resemblance is uncanny, even though they don't look that much alike in the picture.
No. With the necklace, I guess, supposed to give it away.
Yeah. Another conversation with Gavin reveals that Madeline had started to wear Carlotta's jewelry, particularly a ruby pendant shown in the painting. Madeline's great-grandmother was Carlotta Valdez, a fact that Madeline does not know. Gavin only knows this fact because Madeline's mother told him. So yeah, I guess it was like his actual wife's backstory.
Yeah.
I
love old jewelry, like really nice jewelry from.
Yeah.
It
looks gaudy and great.
Yeah, like my wife has a ring from her grandmother that has been in her family for a long time. And it was like, I think back in the 40s or something, whenever she got it.
Yeah.
It was like 30 grand.
Golly.
And like, it's gorgeous.
Is it worth even more now?
Probably, but it's like, we never sell it.
You should.
No one come to my house. But like, no, it's just like it's this whole different type of gaudiness.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's like, it's because it looks so uncomfortable to have on you.
That's true.
And that's just like back in the day, you're just supposed to look stylish, not comfortable. Now, we're kind of all about comfort. That's why we all wear, just plain t-shirts and jeans, and girls just wear like
sweatpants,
big shirts and just leggings all the time. It's all about comfort now. Back then it was like, I don't care, toots, how much that necklace is stabbing into you. You're wearing it because we're going out.
But here's a tissue for all the blood.
Yeah. So the next day, Scotty follows Madeline to the Place of Legions, where she gazes at the portrait again. Then he follows her to the fort point near the Golden Gate Bridge. Kind of a great location. Loved it.
Cool. Everything looks so clean.
Yeah.
I wonder if it still is.
Yeah. No, at this point, there's just a bunch of people doing heroin there.
There were no bodies in the water floating around.
Because in the 50s, no one did heroin, right? They were doing other drugs.
Well, heroin, I don't even think heroin was invented,
right?
Because BC invented it for people getting out of the Vietnam War, right?
I think so.
To help them get off of the other one.
Okay. It's like they just
morphine.
Place an addiction. Oh, so they're probably just actual people that are just taking pills instead of actually
or
doing
like Quaaludes.
Yeah. So, he follows the Golden Gate Bridge. Madeline strolls by the sword, throwing petals into the bay, until without warning, she jumps in.
Yeah.
Scotty dives after her. She's alive but unconscious, and he takes her back to his apartment. We have some things to discuss here. Madeline wakes up at Scotty's apartment, perplexed and alarmed to find herself naked in a strange man's bed. Scotty hands her a red bathrobe and explains he rescued her from drowning.
Don't worry. I completely undressed you.
I know. I love now in modern movies, they always explain it away. It's like, oh, don't worry. I didn't see anything or anything. But like in older movies like this, it's always just like, you just undressed her?
It's totally fine.
It's totally cool. I'd actually like to see the scene.
Like, I dried your hair too.
Of her unconscious body. And he's just like, God dang it.
But was she really unconscious though? She was probably awake the whole time.
That's the thing. Right. Or did she actually, it's all an act. So she was awake the entire time, right?
Yeah, she was letting it happen.
Yeah.
She enjoyed it.
That's what I was thinking. She asked for it.
She definitely did.
No, but I do wonder, like maybe she like took something to like make her kind of pass out or something.
I don't know.
That's what I was thinking. But yeah, I guess
she
like
just got the vapors.
I guess the point is that she was faking it the whole time though, right? That's what I was thinking. So Madeline maintains that she must have fainted and fallen. He questions her, where were you before? Has this ever happened to you before?
Yeah.
Like a billion times over and over. And I love that when we see her hair right now, it doesn't have the spiral. It's kind of how she wears it later in the film, which I find very interesting. Judy. Yeah. It's like, oh, so that's her natural hair. So that's why she just has it like that. She's like, oh shit. She looks at herself in the mirror and she's like, ooh, do you have my pins? Great.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I ruffled through your purse and I put them in there.
I took all your pins out of your hair, lady. They're mine now. I'm going to sniff them every night. Then she starts asking the same questions to him. He like kind of answers them expertly, I guess, because, he is a detective.
It was really funny to me how he's like, come sit by the fire.
Yeah.
And then he's like, throw some cushions on the floor.
Yeah. And like, obviously the reason he does that is because he's going to do that at the end. And it's just kind of builds up to what I love about the whole second half is that it builds up to him. All he's trying to do is find this one moment like this right here, but with a woman that he thinks is not Madeline, but is, which is fun.
You want that coffee?
Yeah.
Drink the coffee.
Yeah. But I love that like Judy / Madeline, they're like, and it's obvious now because, we know that she's not actually Madeline, but I love that she immediately starts throwing the questions back at him. Just kind of gives her some power, which I thought I really enjoy. And then they finally introduce each other to each other.
To see that she's in a pretty vulnerable situation, but she kind of takes control of the whole thing. It was good on her.
We learned that people call John, or call him either Mr. Ferguson or they call him John if they know him.
Does anyone call you Jack?
If they're friends, they call him Scotty.
So many names.
It's like,
who are you?
Okay. But then like it kind of it's supposed to lead you on a little later that she keeps calling him Scotty, and it's like, well, why? If you don't really know him all that well, you keep calling him Scotty.
Oh, I see. That's interesting.
Gavin calls, concerned about the whereabouts of his wife. Scotty reassures him that Madeline is at his apartment. Gavin informs Scotty that Madeline is 26, the same age at which Carlotta Valdez committed suicide. Scotty hears the door closes. He realizes that Madeline has left. As Madeline drives away from Scotty's house, Midge arrives just in time for a misunderstanding. She believes that Scotty and Madeline are in a relationship.
Yeah, Madeline just cannot get away from this man.
Yeah, right?
She tries so hard.
Tries. I do love that she's just like, oh, this is my fucking chance. I better get out of here. I don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
And that Midge is just like, oh, rats. You're not working a case. I'm obviously in love with you, and my character goes nowhere in this film.
I better do something to make up for it. You'll really enjoy it.
Maybe I'll make a painting. So it's the next morning. Scotty trails Madeline through the streets of San Francisco, only to find that Madeline has been looking for Scotty's house. Scotty catches her leaving a thank you letter for saving her. She did not know the address, but followed the Coit Tower. Scotty, now smitten with Madeline, insists that they wander together because they are both alone. It's so fun. Oh, man, really, you should rewatch this movie maybe like a year or two later, because it's so fun knowing that she knows he's behind her.
Yeah.
And he's just like, he's going to be so fucking surprised when I drive up to his house because I know exactly where he lives and I know everything that's happening. Yeah, it's great. And I do love the line whenever he gets the letter out. And he's like, I hope we will too, Madeline. What? Meet again sometime, Madeline. We have.
We did.
And it's like, oh, I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's a very well-written movie. I just really like the way it says.
I'll show you how to kiss a married woman.
Yeah. And then whenever they're about to go, don't you think it's kind of a waste for the two of us, Madeline, to wander separately? But only one is a wonder. Two together are always going somewhere. It's like, I don't know.
And he's like, I don't believe that's true.
This movie really fucking goes. Man.
That was very cool.
It's like great lines.
So do you think the Madeline's husband, because he tells John that she's not his wife anymore. Mm-hmm. Why?
Wait, say that again?
Because the Elster or whatever, the Madeline's husband.
Yeah.
She tells John that he's like, she's not my wife anymore.
Because she's Carlotta.
Because she's Carlotta, or is he's trying to give him an opening to like fall in love with her? Because that's the plan.
I think it's kind of both. I mean, obviously it's forced for him to fall in love with her, and I think they're pushing it. But I think the idea is he's supposed to be meaning that she's being Carlotta more than she's actually being that. And maybe the idea is that Scotty's falling in love with Carlotta and Madeline combined, something like that. Maybe.
Every time I hear you say Carlotta, I think of the villain from Austin Powers with a lot of vagina.
Oh yeah. Man, we need to do a Bond and then Austin Powers directly after, right?
Yes.
We're gonna get on that.
I can't wait for the new Bond.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I love the Bond movies. I need to go back and watch all the old ones. I've watched most of them, but not all of them.
Yeah.
Anyways, so they arrive at a Big Basin Redwood State Park where they admire the ancient redwoods. Isn't it great how massive it is? And they're not there.
They're not there at all?
I believe it's built, right?
I don't know.
It didn't look fully real to me.
It didn't look fully real to me either.
Which is what's so eerie about the whole damn thing. It's like, what? And this actually, let's just keep going because this has one of my favorite parts of the whole movie. So they arrive at the Big Basin Redwood State Park where they admire the ancient redwoods as they view a cross-section of a tree with the approximate dates of the historical events, like the rings.
Go there.
Yeah, it looks amazing. Madeline goes into a trance, seemingly becoming Carlotta, recounting the dates of her birth and death. Madeline, pointing at the margin of a cross-section of the sequoia who had lived for over 1,000 years. Here I was born, and there I died. It was only a moment for you. You took no notice.
The tree?
Yeah. Well, like her life, I guess, something like that. She's Carlotta, and it's like, I guess she's kind of talking about the person that threw her away.
So she's
stuff
a ghost
like that. Yeah.
talking through Madeline's body.
And then Madeline wanders deeper into the woods, and Scotty follows. There's this great moment, and it's like one of my favorite parts of the movie where she goes behind a tree, right?
Yeah, gone.
And you're thinking, shit, it's a
gonna
ghost.
Kill herself
She's
again.
a ghost. It's a ghost movie. And he's kind of wandering, and it feels very weird because the setting doesn't seem proper. It doesn't seem right for some reason.
It's very mysterious.
And he's like looking, and like you're like, oh shit, she's actually a ghost. She's not real. This is gonna be crazy. And then you see her just kind of like, and then you're like, what? What is this? This is so fun. No, I just love it. Just, there's like some parts whenever I watch movies and like really good ones, there'll always be like a moment where, especially like horror, thriller, suspense things, where there's going to be a part where something inside me just kind of feels different.
Yeah.
And this is going to be lame, but this is kind of what the snap in, not Endgame, but Infinity War.
Yeah, okay.
Whenever, like you just see Thanos, he kind of snaps, but nothing really happens. But because like the music kind of changes and there's all this action right before it happens, and then it happens and there's like kind of peace for a second. And it felt weird when I watched it, and like my insides kind of felt different. And that's what kind of this scene did. Where there's for a second I was like, what?
Like reality kind of shifted.
Yeah, it's like, what's going on?
That was badass.
And that's why I love movies. If I can feel that, that's great.
I felt the exact same way when they were snapping at in West Side Story.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
I know. Let's see. So he confronts her about her jump into the bay and tries to bring Madeline back. They drive to the shore where he's like, where were you? What are you doing? Hey, lady, answer my questions. She's like, don't ask me anymore. I'm tired. And then so they kind of drive to like the shoreline or whatever. Madeline begins to reveal fragments of her vague memories, an empty grave with no name waiting for her, an empty room in which she sits alone, and finally a tower, bell, and a garden in Spain. Madeline admits she's not crazy and she does not want to die. They then kiss as the waves crash onto the rocks. Scotty promises he will never leave her because it's her job. It's his job to protect her forever now. Because the Chinese said
it. That's crazy.
Classic
Chinese.
Americans thinking this is like giving some Eastern culture thing and propping it up. Now I have to because these guys think it over here.
Yeah.
Love it though. I love it because she starts walking towards the water and he's like, oh, here she fucking goes again. And he runs over there. She's like, why are you running? And that's when she's kind of like, I don't want to die. I promise.
I just can't help
so
it.
when they kiss, right? Does it feel earned?
No.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's something about older movies, like the romance never feels earned.
It's just so intense out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's like,
where did this come from?
I think it's like tough because it doesn't feel like enough time's passed for them to even get to know each other. I think, but the way I look at it is that they both, well, she obviously is trying to get him to kiss, which obviously it being a man, he's like, well, you don't really have to try that much. But I think for him, it's the fact that he feels responsible for this person and he saved her. He's got like this bond and connection with her. That's how that's how I saw, like, he's like, oh, it doesn't help that she's attractive. Yeah. It helps, a little bit, right? So I think it was one of those things. And he's like, I'm a man in the 1950s. We usually know each other for a month and then we'll get hitched. That's how things worked. So Scotty arrives at Midge's place upon having received a note from Midge inquiring as to his whereabouts. I guess there's been a few days passing, I'd assume. Midge mischievously reveals a new picture she's been painting, a portrait of herself as Carlotta Valdez. It's so fucking weird. Scotty's not amused by the gag. Distressed, he leaves immediately. Midge ruins the painting, upset by the depth of his feeling for Madeline and her own misguided attempt to make light of it, which has distanced them further. Bro, Midge.
Nice try.
I mean, that's funny, but hey, girl, a little weird.
It was a little weird.
A little too far. You spent a lot of time on that painting for this joke.
Would have been really funny if it was his face on
Carlotta. Right? This is how you know they didn't really watch a lot of TV back in the day. She's like, oh, I guess I could play a prank on my friend that I like.
It'll make him love me.
Yeah. I'm sure I can spend 2 to 3 weeks making this painting for this one little bit. That's obviously not a very good bit. At no point of the hours she spent painting this picture did she go, maybe too much.
No.
Maybe weird. Maybe I just draw a picture instead. Oh, Midge. Not a big fan of Midge in this movie. Just her character.
And then, like, this is kind of the last you see her, really.
See her one more time, midway through about. So, Madeline returns to Scotty's house, where she tells him an awful dream with a tower, a bell, and a village. As she describes the location in detail, Scotty finishes her description. You've been there, he exclaims. Scotty is talking about the San Juan Bautista, a mission that has been converted into a museum. They drive to the mission, When they arrive at the mission, they enter a stable where Scotty tries to dismiss the dreams logically. He points out certain objects that are real. And they kiss. I love it. They kind of go there. They start kissing. He's like, "Oh, you've been here. This is probably just weird memory. See, there's a horse here. You probably have to push it though. See, there's nothing strange here."
But the church itself, like, had those really vibrant stained glass mosaics or windows.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
those are really cool. And everything's so red. Do you think red?
Well, it's like the entire building's fake, right? It's all painting, most of it.
Yeah,
which is so eerie, especially whenever there's like this top-down shot coming up. Oh, we'll get to it.
In the stairs.
Yeah. So the two kiss. Madeline explains she must do something. She asks if he believes she loves him.
I'm gonna kill myself.
Yeah.
Just takes off running.
And I love it that you can juxtapose this and the ending of the movie, and it's everything completely reversed, and it's fun. She asks him if he believes she loves him. He replies, "Yes. And if you lose me, then you'll know I loved you. And I wanted to go on loving you," she says. She starts to go to the church when Scotty realizes she's going to the bell tower. Scotty chases her into the chapel and sees her run up the stairs. He follows her, but as he looks down, his vertigo sets in and you get the little zoom, the little dolly zoom. He cannot follow her up to the top of the bell tower. He like stops at one point. I love how eerie the bell tower is because it's not real, right? Because there's shots on the exterior, right? And it just feels slightly off. It's like almost perfectly painted to where it could look real, but you can just feel that it's like the little tower parts added on through painting or something or computer graphics.
I guess I didn't really. It did look off, but I couldn't put my finger on it.
It's like I like paused it. I was like, I ain't a fucking real tower, man. I ain't a real tower. And this makes it feel weird. And also, I think Jimmy Stewart is so good in this scene running up the stairs.
Yeah,
and it's like I just love the juxtaposition of later in the movie where he's like more confident and mean going up, and this he's like more scared and worried, so he can't do it. But whenever you give him like a vindictive like feeling, he's able to go up these stairs.
Yeah, it is really interesting.
How sweat.
I guess he's because they go to the court. What did they have, like a court trial or something?
He talks
about
judicial hearing or something like that.
They were talking about how shitty he was because he couldn't save her life.
Yeah. Oh, just give me 1 second. I got a lot of things to say about that scene.
But like whenever he's going up the stairs and then he sees her, whenever she falls out of the top of the tower, I cracked up laughing.
Yeah, really?
Because I was like, it was just so, it was at the same time.
So fast.
It was horrifying and also kind of funny the way she fell. I don't know.
Because the way they like fall is like their arms are all spread out, and it's like, I don't know how you're supposed to fall, but it does look silly.
Yeah, but I guess if you think about it, like if she was thrown and already limp, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, and she was like already dead at that point. So yeah, he sees Madeline's body plunges to the tiles below before hearing a scream, or hears a scream. Then that happens. Scotty staggers out of the mission. The sun's blinding his eyes. He's dumbfounded, and he runs from the scene of the crime. I just think it's a great, stressful scene. It's very chaotic feeling.
Yeah.
Especially with like the zooms and stuff and looking down. And
I thought there would be more falling down in this, like John just falling, because Vertigo is more of like your balance.
Yeah.
And you just fall on your fucking face.
Yeah.
When acrophobia is more like the fear of heights.
Yeah.
I just thought there would be more falling.
Yeah, it's funny that
I totally expect you to fall down the stairs.
You don't really get a lot of vertigo in this movie except for like 2 times. That was it. The whole time it's just 2 spots of vertigo.
How funny would it be for him to be just falling down all the stairs?
Yeah. It's like Blues Brothers when the cop's car crashed, but in this case it's just him falling down every single stair. But I think the movie Vertigo isn't about, the title's not about him having vertigo. I think it's just
him falling and falling for this woman.
Yeah.
And this paranoia.
Yeah. And then also kind of her vertigo for doing the same thing to him in the second half. Almost. Yeah. So then we cut to we're at a judicial hearing concerning Madeline's death. The judge is particularly cruel to Scotty. He insults him for letting his weakness get in the way of saving Madeline. The court rules the incident a suicide. Gavin comforts Scotty while telling him that with the loss of his wife, he can no longer stay in San Francisco, and Gavin sets off for Europe. All right, let's talk about this.
I'm free.
So the judge also said, hey, Gavin, look, we completely understand why he made all these decisions, and he's completely not responsible for this. Um, Question one, what is this hearing? Why is it in this tiny ass building? What are we doing here? This doesn't seem like a real court type situation.
No.
These guys the jury just like talks for 5 seconds. Pss, 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 pss. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a suicide. Okay. Like there's no evidence that like
Oh,
there's
we got a dead woman? Yeah.
So my other one is, how is the husband not looked down on in this situation? He knew John wouldn't be able to protect her if she ran up to a high place.
Yep.
And the fact she is suicidal, you'd want someone who can run quickly up a high place without an issue. I don't know, unless she, jumps to her death because she's suicidal. Maybe he isn't in the right here. And maybe, yeah, well, I mean, I get that it's like, oh, back in the 1950s, you put a woman in a mental hospital, they're gonna
drill a hole in her
drill
head.
a hole and start tapping on that brain.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I get not wanting to send her to the mental hospital, but hey, maybe you should follow her a little bit, dude. Maybe it is his fault. It's like, hey, let's not get a guy with vertigo to chase her places, right?
Put her in handcuffs like we do.
Yeah. But also, I will say, I think the guy playing the judge is fantastic. I love the way he's talking, the way he looks, how snarky and snooty he is towards him.
Snooty.
I was like, ooh, I fucking hate this guy. He's playing this perfectly. But yeah, just a little bit where I was like, we're just gonna wave off this husband. This seems like a weird plot point here. I don't think this guy should get off easily.
Like he couldn't have done anything wrong here.
Yeah.
He's a man.
Right. So then, yeah, we cut to Scotty. He goes to visit Madeline's grave. So Scotty has trouble sleeping. Oh, I love this part.
Oh, yeah,
so he's
that
like
was
sleeping. He's
wild.
like, and then all of a sudden, blue and purple flashes signaling his nightmare as an animated bouquet unravels in front of him. He dreams of seeing Carlotta Valdez at a hearing at the hearing that he was at. And then, like, you got his face, like, almost kind of going down, like, the
it's
stairwell.
Like all the colors are flashing.
It's so cool.
That was cool.
And then when he sees Carlotta Valdez at the hearing, it's with special emphasis on the ruby necklace, of course. Scotty walks into the cemetery where there is an open grave. Scotty falls into the grave. Then his body lands next to Madeline on the tiles of the mission. He wakes up in a cold sweat. And
he's crazy now.
Yeah. He's going to have trouble doing things. And this is where we last see Midge. Midge arrives to care for Scotty in a psychiatric ward. She tries to confront him. She says, Mother's here. And it's like, this is a weird relationship with these two people.
Weird.
Scotty will not, but I mean, I get it because he said earlier she's being too motherly. Scotty will not speak. He is in a daze. The doctor believes that Scotty will be incapacitated for a year due to stress.
Yeah, 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
And they're just doing musical therapy.
Yeah, and it's just because of his stress and anxiety from his depression and guilt.
We've come so far.
Yeah. Several months later, upon his eventual release from the hospital,
he's not drinking and smoking anymore. Something's definitely wrong.
Get this man a
with him.
whiskey. It'll fix everything. Scotty remains in the grip of an obsession. He visits the old Elster home and spots the green car. In the distance, a woman in gray suit is getting in it. Fortunately from him, it is not Madeline. It's an older neighbor who bought the car from Gavin. I have to ask, did Gavin be like, all right, I'm going to pay these other women that will look very similar to her constantly walking around? Or is it just like, hey, this is the style at the time?
I think maybe that, but also it's his extreme paranoia.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the best of him.
Sometimes it's like, it feels like this is kind of, at first it feels like, maybe this is unreliable. And he's just kind of like seeing these people look like this, but they're not actually dressed like this.
I wonder if this is because you see in movies now where like they'll look at a person's face and it's the exact same person.
Yeah.
Even if it's a woman, like they have a mustache and shit.
Yeah. It's like, no, that's got to be her.
Everyone looks like her.
So, and then he goes to Ernie's. He spots a woman in green evening dress, but again, it's not Madeline. He even sees Madeline at the Place of Legions, but once again, it is not her. All these blonde women keep going to the same places. What's up with all these blonde women? Who are these people? So while looking Man, oh my God. I'm so glad I got to say that naturally in the podcast. That's so perfect. I do that to my wife all the time. Who are these people?
I need to do that more.
So, while looking at a bouquet at a flower shop, he sees a striking brunette in a green dress who resembles Madeline. He follows her to a hotel empire and sees her through the 5th floor window. So then Scotty goes up there and knocks on the door. The woman is concerned that he's a creep. He reassures her he just wants to talk. She keeps refusing. He says she reminds him of someone.
Oh, good. You just come on in.
Yeah, right?
Want to go out?
She says she's heard that one before, but still lets her in anyways.
Yeah.
And right now we're obviously like, oh, it's the same woman, right? Unless
No,
it's gonna,
I didn't.
Really?
I didn't think yet. Not until she has the flashback.
The first time I watched it, I do remember being like, well, this is obviously the same woman. But I was kind of on the edge where I'm like, is this going to be like a weird thing where she's not actually her? Or is it going to be?
Well, yeah, because I thought he's just following his paranoia around. And I just thought that this was just more of that.
Yeah.
But I didn't think so.
Gotcha.
At first.
So he goes in, he interrogates her rather aggressively, and she shows him proof that she is Judy Barton from Salina, Kansas. Judy realizes that Scotty's heart is broken for his former flame, and she takes pity on him. She agrees to go to dinner for him later at Ernie's. So, and then this is where we get, after Scotty leaves, we get flashbacks reveals Judy's memory. She was Madeline running up the steps of the bell tower at the top. Gavin Elster was there holding the body of the real Madeline Elster. Dressed in exactly the same outfit as Judy, it was the real Madeline's body that was thrown off the bell tower with Judy letting out the scream. So, couple things. Do you like the reveal at the time?
Yeah, I mean, didn't see anything wrong with it.
Still makes the movie stressful because now we have more information than what the people said. Just
From
Hitchcock said.
From this point on, I'm just wondering why she keeps going along with it.
Because she loves him. It's love.
No, it's not.
Damn it, I was out, but then I fell in love. Okay, so, all right, would you rather have the movie the way it is, or, because, kind of like goes with what you were saying earlier, how you're like, oh, I didn't really know if it was supposed to be her or not, or would you like it better if it was, she was not Madeline, she didn't play Madeline at all, and it's just like this random girl, and it's kind of, she's stuck in this demented man's like male gaze and just like can't get away from him.
I don't think that would have worked.
It wouldn't have worked because it's like, why the hell are you gonna go to dinner with him?
That would just made me more confused.
Yeah.
And if you confuse a man, he will kill you.
Yeah, that's true. I thought it'd be kind of cool if it just turned into almost like this man keeps following her everywhere, and then now she's in distress over that, and like,
or maybe she just wants to see where this goes.
Yeah, it's like, ooh, I'm just a beautiful young woman in San Francisco. There's no way I could find a normal man, right? So, so Judy, we see that she even keeps the gray suit she wore as Madeline Elster hidden in the back of her closet. Bad move. She begins to write a letter to Scotty explaining that she was Gavin's accomplice in the murder of his wife. She had pretended to be Madeline to fool Scotty and use him as a witness to lend credence to the idea that Madeline was mentally unstable. Gavin had known about his vertigo and knew that Scotty would never make it to the top of the bell tower. Judy reconsiders this letter and tears it up, deciding she wants to be with Scotty rather than run away.
Do you think she knew that he was going to murder his wife?
Yeah, I think she knew the whole plan.
Okay.
I think she was in on it from the start.
I thought maybe she was just an actress that was getting paid to be another person for a while.
No, I think she was like in on the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because she said she did get a little bit of money and she kept the necklace, which was probably worth quite a bit.
lot. Yeah. So that night, Scotty mistakes another patron for Madeline at Ernie's. He escorts Judy home. Her apartment flooded with green neon light of the hotel sign. He's overwhelmed by his yearning for Madeline, a woman lost to him. Although he is able to capture the ghost of Madeline's present. They agree to meet the next morning to go out, with Judy having to make some excuse for her employer.
Yeah, that was funny. She's like, but I got work. He's like, well, don't go.
Yeah, don't go. Hey, lady, this is in the 1950s. You don't have to work if you're with me.
Yeah.
Even though I don't have a job at the moment.
Yeah.
So,
I guess they must have gotten a really big payout.
Yeah, I'd assume he did. Getting hurt on the job.
Yeah.
Though I don't know how 1950s policemen were treated. I'd assume probably not well. They're still not even...
I probably better than they are now.
Because I feel like, yeah, that's actually probably true. 'Cause I love that, like, every time. It's like the more I learned about like cops that like all their pension is about overtime.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what a fucking shitty system. It's like, you
Yes.
have to work overtime so you can retire later. And it's like, we got to figure this country's got to figure out a better way to
put you in
be comfortable.
the line of danger
Yeah.
more to retire.
It's like you figure you just like reward them for having a dangerous job, right? Not,
Yeah,
hey, you
think
have to
so.
be at a dangerous job 24/7
Yeah, hell
to
yeah.
retire.
They deserve it.
So, but what I love about this, the green neon light in the
Yeah, that was
background,
cool.
she walks into it and it's just profile of her. Fantastic.
This is like the lime in actual limelight.
Yeah, right? So good. So they engage in a series of dates. They all, I guess they're supposed to be going well, but they look bored as shit. With
Yeah.
Scotty becoming happier with their
She's just
relationship.
not dead enough.
Yeah, I need her to be cold. However, little by little, he begins to make Judy over in the image of Madeline, much to Judy's dismay. So creepy. He searches obsessively for a gray suit, white gloves that Madeline used to wear, and even convinces Judy to bleach her hair. Although Judy begs him to love her for herself, she is so in love with Scotty that she allows him to change her into Madeline.
That was really funny when he went to tell her about the hair, and he's like,
It
"You
couldn't.
can't care about
It
this.
couldn't matter to you." It's like, bro. And honestly, with that line, I was like, I think I know what Alfred Hitchcock's trying to make a point about.
Like what?
I'll tell you at the
Okay.
end. So after undergoing an extensive makeover, Judy returns to anxiously awaiting Scotty. Scotty won't break the slightest deviation from his recreation of Madeline and insists that Judy pin her hair, now platinum blonde, exactly the way Madeline wanted hers, which she does, completing the transformation. And in a dreamlike state with the green glow all around them,
cool.
they embrace and kiss. The room turns into the stable from the mission.
Yeah.
Scotty's last kiss with Madeline. And then back to the apartment. Scotty has finally managed to turn back time and resurrect Madeline from the dead. Holy shit, this scene goes, baby.
That was cool as hell.
The green glow, the ghostly figure, like the way it makes her look like a ghost. And then they kiss, and then it's like, oh, this is a great, he got what he wanted. And then the fucking stable behind,
That
and it's
was awesome.
spinning, and I was like, cinema! Oh, dude, what a great masterpiece of a little movie here.
I know. It's really great. I didn't know that was the stable. That was because it's
really?
all like super dark.
Yeah,
and then you
I
just
can see
like
a
leather.
saddle and like
Yeah,
the
you
little
saw
thing.
the leather saddle. But
God,
it was really cool.
man,
Kind of transports you away from back in time, I guess.
I wish I felt like this when I first watched it for school. God, I would have loved to have been a part of the discussion more in the room. But I was just trying to be like, this is the greatest movie ever made.
I know it sucks when they hype it up so much, and I think that's what the problem with me with Citizen Kane was.
Citizen Kane is not nearly as entertaining as this movie.
No, I don't think so either.
It's just because it's so old and the way the acting is,
Everyone's so old.
So much more like a play. If you're not into plays, it's hard to watch those
She's
movies.
old.
She's old. Now it's a couple of nights later. The two decide to go out to Ernie's because she loves Ernie's now. Judy dresses up and puts on the same ruby pendant depicted in the portrait of Carlotta. Scotty realizes that something is amiss. He suddenly becomes distant. He suggests that they not go to Ernie's and go south down to the coast and continues driving past the redwood forest. She's like, yo.
Yeah, well, she was like, I'm hungry now. And he's like, let's drive out to the middle of
How
nowhere.
about this? What if no one could hear you scream where I take you?
Let's go somewhere quiet.
So,
yeah, she's like, where are we going? Oh, you're not terribly hungry, are you?
yeah.
He's like, no, it's
like,
okay.
well, I feel like I've pretty much said how much I really wanted a steak a little earlier
Yeah,
in the
I remember
movie.
that. Yeah.
But I guess if you don't want to take me to get a steak, we maybe stop at Taco Bell or something. I don't know.
Oh, man.
So he tells her he has one final thing to do. Bum, bum, bum. Judy is torn between her love for Scotty and the fear and the guilt she feels for having colluded with Gavin Elster. They arrive at the mission where Scotty forces Judy to reenact Madeline's last moments, their final kiss, and Madeline's parting words. He relentlessly pushes Judy up the stairs of the mission tower, discovering the process that his vertigo is not as limiting as it was. He reveals to Judy that her putting on the necklace that belonged to Carlotta is what gave her away. So the pushing up the stairs scene, stressed me out,
A little
dude.
bit. I was
It's
kind
like
of hoping she'd push him down the stairs. A
yeah,
little
but
bit.
like how she just decides to be completely defenseless because, now she's like really in love with him. And like how it just was like, oh yeah, this is what 1950s was like for
Yeah,
men and women if,
yeah. He kind
if
of
the
just
guy was a dick
he's
or
kind of
crazy.
forced her up there, and then but she's kind of going along with it at the same
Yeah.
time, even though she's like, he's gonna kill me. At least
just-
that's what I thought.
It felt so real and visceral. I was like, damn, this is a domestic dispute we're watching here.
Yeah, and then he's literally dragging her up the stairs.
I know
at the
it's just like it feels
Yes,
scary.
yes.
It feels scary and real. So as he reaches the top of the bell tower, he puts the whole puzzle together. He finally realizes that Judy was the counterfeit all along. He never knew the real Madeline Elster. He's being set up as Gavin Elster's witness in the murder of Elster's wife. He pulls Judy to the top of the tower where she protests. He pleads that she has fallen in love with Scotty, and they kiss. Then the sudden appearance of a woman in the shadows.
That was truly horrifying for a second.
It was great.
It was really good.
But however, it startles Judy, who steps backwards and plummets to her death off the ledge. A nun steps into the light, and in the final shot, as the nun tolls the death bell, a devastated Scotty stands frozen in despair. Although Scotty has been cured of his vertigo, he has now lost the same woman twice.
Damn.
And now forever.
The end.
I have a fucking hair in the back of my damn throat, and I cannot get it out. We're coming to the conclusion of the movie, which I love.
I thought he was going to jump out after her for a second. That would have been fun. In the book that this movie was based on, he strangles her. That
Interesting.
Although
I like this better.
I think I do too, because the whole scary nun thing, God.
And you notice her voice is the same voice as Madeline, the way that Judy talks as Madeline.
No, I didn't notice that.
She uses two different accents. It's more prim and proper as Madeline. She has more of a northwest type accent for Judy. And then whenever you hear the nun talk, it sounds exactly like Madeline, which is fun.
I didn't notice that. That's cool. Yeah, she's like, I'll be your wife.
Jesus Christ, dude. This hair is making my eyes water, my nose run.
What color is it?
I don't know. It's definitely snakes, probably. Probably just hair floating all over this room. But I love you, bud. All right. Well, that's the end of Vertigo.
I like where the movie's going now, where Jesse has a hair in his throat.
Yeah, where Gracie dies at the end of the podcast. Thank you for listening, and you'll never hear us again. Oh, it's finally gone. Thank God. So, Jason, what do you think the movie is about?
So it seems like, to me, it's about obsession.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it's very confusing because there's not really a lot of plot.
Yeah, it's just a man following a woman.
A man following a woman.
It's pretty much the
That
whole
is
movie.
true.
Where the first half is, and the second half is a man finding the woman and making her a different woman, which is great. So, because I thought the same thing. It's about, I think the movie's about, it's showing how destructive and obsessive men can be.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think it's a lot about like the male gaze and how,
interesting.
especially back in the day, they depict, how they looked at women. Like if you think about it, so the old man in the bookshop is talking about how Carlotta was thrown away by the person the man she was sleeping with, and he used these words. It's like back then the man had the power and the freedom to do that.
To just
throw her away.
A woman away.
Yeah. And then you go back to the clothes shop lady, obviously ignoring Judy's like pleas to stop trying to find these things and stop dressing her like the way he wants. And she's just like, the man knows what he wants. So shut up, bitch. And like his obsession with Madeline overpowered his care for Judy, the person, the real person that he could have easily probably fallen in love with.
Yeah.
But because
you never fell in love with the wife. She was she was gone.
She's already gone.
Wasn't even there.
Yeah. Even though she was acting different, you're falling in love with this person.
Still Judy.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I kind of think it's about. It's just about how if a man is obsessed, it becomes very scary for a woman.
Yeah.
But
totally.
Also, and then even just the way that Gavin was like, he literally just wanted to kill his wife and throw her away and then move off.
Just like Carlotta.
And gain all the money from the business and everything. I'm sure that he got from her dying, because I'm sure he inherited all of it.
Yeah, because he said he married into it, so that was her business,
and now it's his
her
business.
family's business.
Yeah, and I assume he probably got everything. I would assume he got a lot of money from it at least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He got out of there.
Yeah, and he went to Europe. So
That's what Judy should have done.
Yep, exactly. She stayed in the same city. Not smart, lady. But yeah, that's kind of what I think the point of the movie is.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, man, I love that we added like, what's the point of the podcast? It's kind of my favorite part of the podcast now.
Nice.
Trying to like study the movie to see like, what are they talking about? And I feel like this is the first movie where I'm like, it has like a very solid point versus the other one. They're kind of rom-com. So it's like, it's just about falling in love, right? All right, well, there's that. So now we're going to go to our next category, the good, the bad, the ugly, the fine. It's where we discuss the good of the film, something we liked, the bad, something we didn't like, the ugly, something that didn't age well, the fine, something that did age well. My good is obviously, I think the direction and the way this movie is put together is fantastic. And the two leads crush, even though it's weird that there's an age difference and they're trying to pretend that James Stewart's supposed to be, I don't know, in his 20s or something,
I don't know.
or like 30s.
His hair's gray the whole time.
He's supposed to be the same age as Midge. They went to college together, I guess.
Yes.
And she looks way younger than him.
She aged much better.
Which this was the last time James Stewart worked with Alfred Hitchcock. Because I guess the movie didn't make too much money. And he kind of blamed it on the fact that probably people couldn't believe that James Stewart was supposed to be the same age as everybody else in like the romantic.
I don't know. I guess
counterpart.
That makes sense. I didn't really see that they were trying to make him look her age because he just didn't look at all like
yeah. I mean, he looked
even close.
He looked like he should be retiring from the force.
But he also didn't look that old.
He looked like 40s, right?
Yeah, I think so.
But I think he was supposed to be like late 20s, early 30s, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just because like he went to college with Midge, and Midge looks like she just got out of college.
Yeah, she looks way better.
But yeah, what do you got for the good?
Yeah, I really loved the direction and the sets and the vibrant colors.
Yeah, it's
and like just like the locations too.
Yeah,
like that big giant gazebo thing. You know that they were walking by on one of their dates.
Yeah,
I've seen that before, not in real life, but like, wasn't that like a cult hangout place? Was it built by a cult in the 70s?
I have no idea.
Like a love cult or some shit.
I vaguely only remember seeing it in the film.
I don't remember much about it, but I really want to go to these places.
You know what's interesting? One of the like the only location shoots was actually at the Golden Gate Bridge.
Oh, nice.
Everything else is like set.
Oh, well,
isn't that crazy?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you can kind of.
But he went to the places and got what the sets look like, and then just made them somewhere.
Yeah, but I feel like they really did a good job of making like the sequoias look.
Dude, it looks fantastic.
Like, they look scary.
It looked off. That whole scene is off.
It is.
Everything
that kind of magical and ghosty, and I don't know.
That's what I loved about him saying like he wanted sets that looked real, but like he didn't want to film on locations. Like so, it makes it more eerie, and it's like that's how you know you got a good filmmaker because he thought that and he fucking did it. That's great. So the bad, my bad is Midge's character sucks.
Yeah, she does. She does kind of suck.
She's there so that Jimmy Stewart can just dump exposition and you can learn about his backstory, his vertigo. He's just there to explain things essentially.
Yeah, there's no reason for her to be there.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem like anyway.
Pointless character.
If they would have made it more like they're just buddies that live and work together, but he doesn't have a job and he just hangs out with her while she paints.
Yeah. And it's just like
and drinks.
I guess we just needed her there so that we know that Jimmy Stewart likes women. Like I don't.
There's another woman that likes him.
Yeah.
I don't.
It just doesn't work, and it's like the only part of the movie where I'm like, could we not give her something to do?
More.
It's like she's there for exposition, and then she's there so that Jimmy Stewart can find information from someone else, and then we see her again, just to show us that he's really falling in love with Madeline by doing the picture thing, and then we see her again just so we can have another exposition dump on why he's feeling insane.
Yeah,
that's all she was there for.
I was so confused by Midge. I thought for a while that she was going to end up being a murderer.
Yeah, it seemed like, right? Especially first time you watch it, it's like, oh, she's going to go psycho on him.
I feel like they could have done more with that, but whatever.
Right.
That was the bad, I think, for me too.
Cool. So, what do you got for the ugly? I don't really have much.
I don't have much either. I mean, the easy thing to say would be to say like how they treat women, but I think that was intentionally
Yeah.
shown.
Yeah.
And that's because that's kind of a big part of his transformation into a fucking psychopath.
Yeah. I mean, for me, there's obvious things like, it's an older movie, so it might be too slow for younger audiences
That's true.
now. And like maybe there's too much hype for this movie now, it being considered one of the best movies ever made by a prestige like institute like BFI.
Maybe I think maybe because I never even heard about this movie really
Yeah.
until you mentioned it and I brought it up for this podcast, and then
And that's the fucking point of the podcast.
that's awesome, man. But I really did enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think what aged well for me was just like the 50s, I guess.
Yeah.
Or maybe
It's such a rad time.
all the
Everything looked great.
just everything was so pristine
Yeah.
in the movie.
The cars are so good looking.
The cars, the city,
Style.
everything was so clean and like
The way everybody just is constantly dressed up, no matter what they
even
do.
if it's San Francisco and it's got to be hot as hell.
All right, let's go to the beach. Let's wear as much clothing as possible.
I like how everyone wears gloves.
Yeah.
Like, bring
Everywhere,
it back.
right? I don't want to see a damn fingernail wherever I go. Yeah, so I put the fine is that this is considered one of the best films ever made. Kind of like Citizen Kane, but what ages well is that it feels like a better movie than Citizen Kane.
It does.
And it just like goes.
Yeah.
Right?
I was constantly thinking of It's a Wonderful Life because of Jim Stewart.
Yeah.
Which I didn't really care for that movie.
I don't really care for Wonderful Life either. First time I watched it, I was like, this is everybody's favorite
I
Christmas
know,
movie?
right? I don't get it.
It's
But I
just-
like him more in this.
Yeah.
Way more.
Yeah. And I think that's just like the time of like filmmaking then compared to now. This feels a little bit more realistic and it's not like, hey, la, 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 la. It's like constantly yelling in the movies. All right, cool. That's our category. All right, we're going to go to Double Feature, which is a movie we recommend to go alongside Vertigo.
Yay.
I chose the movie directed by David Lynch called Mulholland Drive. It is without a doubt got to be inspired by Vertigo. Just if you watch it, you'd understand.
I need to watch it.
It's after a car
Never
wreck
heard
on
of it.
Mulholland Drive renders a woman amnesic. She and a Hollywood hopeful search for clues and answers across Los Angeles in a twisting venture beyond dreams and reality. It's David Lynch, so you know it's going to be a fucking freak fest.
Did you hear about the guy at work who this kind of happened to? So his wife said she was having seizures, and the husband who works there, she worked there for a little while, but she said she couldn't because of the seizures. They went to the doctor, no seizures, couldn't find anything wrong with her. He gets home from work one day. She claims she had a seizure, and she doesn't remember marrying him. Isn't that awesome? They get a divorce. A few months later, they go out. They have sex. She's pregnant. Yes. Keep it coming, life.
Wait, so
I live for
she
it.
has a seizure, can't remember him. They get divorced, but then they try to make it. They like start dating.
She calls him and asks him out on a date. I guess she remembers again.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Yes.
Holy shit, dude.
Yes.
That's a movie.
Shit happens. This shit really happens.
Let's make that movie.
Okay. I'm sorry.
That's crazy.
Mulholland Drive. Yeah, I really want to watch it.
It's great. I own it. I can let you borrow it.
Mine was the scene where he's having the nightmare, and it really gave me 2001 Space Odyssey vibes. Just all the weirdness and
like the one part where it's just like they're going through space and it's just
Yeah,
their
man.
colors flying.
that shit.
It's just like, why wasn't I born then and did mushrooms in the theater?
No, there's a lot of the paranoia that this movie kind of made me feel too. And
how just like the filmmaking makes it feel eerie the entire time.
Very eerie, and it's even got like a lot of really stunning visuals, especially with the artificial intelligence thing, the red light always looking at you.
Yeah,
God, so
I think the beginning of that movie with the monkeys.
Yeah,
I think that might be
that's awesome.
that might be like some of the best cinema I've ever seen in my life. It looks amazing,
It's
even
so
though
cool.
the monkeys look creepy. It just all fucking works, and it feels bad, and
The fucking monolith,
and it just tells a story so perfectly, and then of course the bone cuts into the spaceship, just showing like monkey have tool
Build
monkey-made spaceship. And it's like one of the best like 10 to 20 minutes in cinema.
Hell
ever.
yeah, man.
When I first saw the movie, I was like, I get it. And then the rest of the movie happens, and it's good.
It's
still.
also a very slow movie.
Yeah, it's a very slow movie, but that's a movie I do love. It's like
I've only seen it one time. I
it's
didn't watch it
Kubrick,
again.
baby.
The Blue Danube playing as
Yeah.
they're flying through space. Fucking love it.
What's the song?
The Blue Danube?
Daisy.
Oh, that one. No, I don't know.
Fucking knows. That's it. That's our discussion on Vertigo, baby. Oh, what a good episode. I feel like we just recorded. And you know what's going to be a good episode? Next week's, because we're discussing our first Christopher Nolan movie. How fun. We're doing my favorite Christopher Nolan movie, Dunkirk, baby.
Hell yeah.
I don't know why it's my favorite, but when I watch it, it just makes me feel great. And it's the only Christopher Nolan movie that I don't have a single complaint about. And so I'm like, oh, I guess it's my favorite.
What other Christopher Nolan movies?
Interstellar, The Dark Knight trilogy,
Okay, yeah.
Memento.
I never paid attention to directors before
Tenet.
this podcast.
What
the
else did
hell's
he
wrong
do?
with me?
Oh, he did Oppenheimer.
I haven't seen that one either.
He won the Academy Award for that one.
Fuck yeah.
But Dunkirk's perfect film.
I can't wait to see it.
I think it's a masterpiece. It's just like a regular. It's
like
because
a
Christopher
ward.
Nolan loves, like, outside of the Dark Knight trilogy, like, he does shit with time like crazy. He loves messing with time, right? Tenet, time go front and back at the same time.
I've tried to watch that movie several times. I've never been able to finish it for some reason. It's not because I didn't like it.
Yeah, that movie is just like,
no, the bullet's already there.
it's insane, and I absolutely love it. It's probably like my second favorite of his movie.
Fuck yeah, man.
It's just, it does not fully work, and it's the best part about the movie is that it's like, dude, I don't know how it's supposed to work, but it doesn't, and I like it. Like, I don't know how. That's just where you're just watching a really good director do stuff, and just like, he had a thing in his mind and he put it on screen, and it's like, I get it, but you guys might, the audience, not get it. But yeah, Dunkirk, it messes with time on how he tells the story. There's not like time travel or anything, but it's the way he puts scenes in certain time that makes it work.
That's cool.
It's crazy. I can't wait for you to watch it.
I can't wait to watch it.
So join us next week for Dunkirk. Also, give us some fan mail. I told you earlier in it that where you can go to do that. Link in the description, or at the very bottom, there's our email. We recommend mailbag@gmail.com. Leave us some reviews, baby. We got a few more new listeners. If you're
10
listening,
out of 10 hair in the mouth.
Yeah. If you like when Jesse gets a hair in his mouth, and for the last 10 minutes of the plot, he's dying inside, give us 5 stars for that.
It makes you more relatable,
Yeah.
I think.
I would say follow us on our social medias, but honestly, I hate all the social medias.
Yay.
X is unusable.
Yes.
TikTok's annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook's just weird now.
I don't
and I
have it
don't
anymore.
have an Instagram because it won't let me set it up.
Oh.
I don't know why. Even though that's the only good social media at this point, I feel like. But yeah, anyways, if you do find us on the social medias and you want to follow us, just go to the link tree / we recommend podcast.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank Joey Prosser for our intro and outro music. You can follow him on X at Mr. Joey Prosser. And this has been the We Recommend podcast. I'm Jesse.
I'm Jason.
Jason, one person podcasting is just wandering. 2 people podcasting are going somewhere.
Let's hold hands.
Bye.